Last night's news started with a domestic disturbance call, as you know, and I wonder sort of what went through your mind as you first heard that.
There's always concern for both the victim and when law enforcement's responding, because we know how volatile domestic violence relationships can be, especially when that relationship's ending in that power and control shifting, and recognizing they're one of the most dangerous calls law enforcement responds to.
Can you talk a little bit more about why it's so dangerous for law enforcement?
Domestic violence relationships are rooted in power and control, and the abuser is driven to maintain that control. And when that victim takes those steps to leave, that's shifting that power structure. And even people without a history of violence may escalate in a very unpredictable way. And we know there's an uncertainty, a volatility. Law enforcement knows that very well. They train for that. And it's just the unknown. Many of the cases, it's someone goes in, they get their things, they leave. And in other cases, you have these worst possible outcomes.
Yeah, and you said, it's dangerous even for an abuser without a history of domestic violence, and we're learning about this particular suspect. There is a history of domestic violence. What kind of strategies or things do officers and victims keep in mind when they're going into a situation like that?
What we know about officer training is they're trained around safety, assessment of the scene, that at their core, they keep the community safe. What we talk about is safety planning. We talk about recognizing the unpredictability. We educate those we work with and support about steps to take, including don't tell the abuser that you're preparing to leave. We keep materials available on our website, going with some suggestions. It's also that constant reminder of you can take every step available to you, but in the end, you're not in control of someone else's actions and what they choose to do.
I'm thinking about that woman who the police were there to help, and how by no fault of her own this all happened, but how she must be feeling. She not only was the victim, as we're hearing, possibly of domestic violence, but also this all happened as she was trying to escape, and just a secondary trauma for her.
Absolutely, and I don't know details about this case, but obviously that would impact someone. That the conditioning that sometimes goes along with violent relationships is that all responsibility, all blame is put on the victim when none of it is theirs to carry. And this was not her fault. And I think it's also a reminder, people are too quick to go to the place of why doesn't she leave? We hear that ask, and it's because it's incredibly dangerous. And that's why we talk with people. It's not about don't leave, it's let's take every step we can so you can leave safely.
It appears this man had a firearm, and from the length of the standoff and the number of pops that I heard while I was there on scene, plenty of ammunition. If a woman in a situation or a man in an abusive relationship knows that their partner has weapons, I'm sure that makes it even worse for them to leave.
That is part of the safety planning, is understanding, are there firearms in the home? Is the presence of other indicators of an increased risk for violence? Firearms with people with a history of violence against their partners is a bad combination, and we see it over and over.
I don't think we yet know the specifics of when they entered the home. Was he there? I don't think.
What I know is immense training goes into prepare officers to respond to a variety of calls, including domestic violence, and we just don't know. We don't know if they thought he wasn't home, of what was going on there. What I do know is officers went to support someone, to keep her safe and to help her be safe, and someone else took action that made that impossible.
As you were watching the events of last night unfold, is there anything else that went through your mind?
That sometimes when these situations happen, it may be the moment that triggers it for someone else to say, this is dangerous, or I'm uncomfortable. These will at times be a a turning point for someone to at least start that process. And we talk about leaving like it's a single act when it's really a process for a lot of people.
It's not like in the movies where someone grabs a duffel bag and that's it.
No. There's a lot of contemplation and really assessing safety that goes into that. And if you're feeling that, even the smallest amount, Weave is there to help 24/7, and that there are steps. You don't have to make any decision right now. That's entirely up to you. You are in control of that situation, but we are here. And if you have a friend or family member, our resources are there for you too. And our 24-hour support line is 916-920-2952.
For anyone who saw what happened last night and is in an unhealthy, abusive relationship, and they go, oh my gosh, I don't want my situation to escalate to that. I mean, could this further push someone toward not leaving?
That could be an immediate reaction, absolutely. Everyone deserves to be safe. It should not be a deterrent to reach out and seek help. If you're not ready to call yet, weaveinc.org has a lot of resources, including more in-depth information on safety planning. And those advocates that answer the phone line 24/7, they can walk through, because every situation is unique, and they're going to respect that, and they can be that resource and safe place to talk.